Come along with me today on my first time out trying macro photography, and stick around to the end of the video if you want to see some super detailed close-up images, and of course subscribe for more if you like this kind of thing. Cheers.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. This week I'm trying something a little different. I'm out here at this location. Look up the pronunciation of that if you want. It's in Wales. The W's are not pronounced like W's. Anyway, what we're doing here today, if the dog cooperates, is we're going to be trying some macro photography. Now I have a new lens. This is the theme. Every week won't be a new lens. That'd be amazing if it was. The funds don't allow that. Here, so I have a Sigma 105 macro lens. I've tried a couple of handheld shots over when I was walking the dog the other day in the woods, obviously without doing any kind of focus stacking. And it's incredible the difference between just a lens that has a macro function that isn't necessarily a macro lens. We're gonna get this guy and go off in some direction. The tricky thing is gonna be the sun's quite low in the sky, which is good for the nice light. The problem is, as you might be able to see behind me, it's quite dark in these woods. So I think the more interesting vegetation is in that direction, but the light is in that direction. So we'll have a walk around and we'll see what we can find. It turns out that I'm on a biking trail. Hopefully we don't encounter any bikers. I have seen two go past me already, but... Oh, Merlin. Stop that. Onwards. Maybe if we go off-road, we won't find any bikes. Okay, when we last spoke, we were going off-road. There are signs here that say you should stick to the paths. And there were wadding for shotgun cartridges off the path, so I think it's best to heed the warning this time. We'll stick towards the path, but we'll try and find a little clearing or something just off it. Right, Melly, let's go this way. At the top of the hill here, it's a mountain. I'll have to check to see whether it's actually really a mountain. There's a nice shrine here to memory of a crew that crashed on this mountain in 1947. And macro pictures this way, Merlin. Take us to the macro shots.
So I saw a little fern while I was walking around and thought I'd get set up. I brought far too much kit with me today. I thought I'd test a few different lenses and see how they work out doing the different type of macro photography, but I'm going to save that for another occasion back at the house.
We have slim pickings today, and the light has moved. I'm having some minor difficulties in using this tripod. It's the same difficulty I had when trying to frame up the moon when I was using the mirror lens. So I have managed to get it framed up on the two items there. What happens is you tighten the ball head up and then the image just shifts slightly. So I think it's probably an issue with the quality of the tripod. It was about 80 quid, a newer tripod. So it might be time to look into seeing what other options are out there. Now, because of how long it took me to get the tripod set up and on the target there, the light is now shifted. I don't know if you can see there, but there's the object, and just to the right of it is where the light is falling.
So this gives you an idea for the depth of field at the widest open the aperture gets. And this is why you need to do focus stacking. You'll stack the focus from the front to the back of the frame, one bit at a time. So here I'm setting up for 40 increments. The idea then is to, at home, merge all of those layers into one final image in Photoshop. There's tools available in Photoshop to make this easy, so it's not too bad.
What do you think of this, Melon? I think that means he likes it. But this is, exploring what does and doesn't work, with which bits of kit do and don't work. And then also I'm going to be learning the process of, merging all those photos into one image at the end.
So here is the resulting stack of the 40 images. And I was going to make a mistake the first time I did one of these, wasn't I? It's on the right hand little nodule there of this plant. I missed the focus. I should have focused it just slightly closer to the camera, but hey.
The light came back Unfortunately, where I had placed my tripod, I placed it more over to the right, just causing them to vibrate. So I did manage to get another stack off with the kind of golden light on them, but who knows what's going to happen with the output because they were wobbling all over the place. Time to pack the gear away and move on. So when I started taking landscape photography a little more seriously, actually trying to get better at it, I noticed when I was walking about, like general day to day, I'd be looking off into the distance, actually appreciating my surroundings a little bit more. Got me thinking more about how things look in the distance. I mean, this is the exact opposite, having to change your perspective to look at things on the ground. So I think this is possibly going to take a little time to adjust, to get used to thinking about looking for subjects, getting some intuition as to what areas to look for items to photograph. Right now, I think I've chosen an interesting wood, but it's actually a bike track and I was not aware of that. So a lot of the trails have been heavily utilised. So if there were any small items knocking about, it's possible they've been absolutely obliterated. We're going to have a little bit more of a look around, but I think this might be a bit of a bust. A learning experience, but on this particular occasion, a bust. Well, I spent about 2 hours here. Nothing's quite worked out. There was that one test shot I did. I think what I need to do before I go out next is look into getting a better ball head for my tripod. Don't know if I need to replace the entire tripod. The frame is relatively sturdy. The ball head, when it has the full weight of the lens and the camera, it just slowly droops down until it settles, which when you're trying to line things up with the light moving about in the scene, makes it quite difficult. So I think what I'm going to do now is fully pack up, start walking back towards the car. At least the dog's got some exercise, but I've learned some things. And, I know the capabilities of the lens a bit more, which is nice. It's good to actually get out and use it. I like the possibilities that we could have of it. But of course, need to find subjects to capture properly.
On the way back to the car, I spotted this little cut through. It was right near where you enter the woods. And actually, here is the type of woods I was looking for the whole 2 hours that I've been walking around. So it was very dense trees, very dense carpeted floor. A lot of potential for little things to photograph with, interesting tones in the blurred out background. Unfortunately, by this time, the light had pretty much gone. You could see deep into the trees. It was very dark. So I thought we'd maybe try this again another day. If the weather was good, I'd come back tomorrow.
Well, it is the next day. It is in fact the morning. I'm not a morning person. I have less kit with me today. I was going to test a couple of different lenses, do macro stuff yesterday. Didn't work out. Focus on that in a separate video. Maybe do that at home in the garden, show the differences lending rather than trying to figure all that out on the fly in the woods. So we're back and we're in this section, the more densely forested section. And we don't have the dog either, which will help a little bit. So I'm going to have a walk around now. I haven't had any breakfast or any coffee yet today. So I'm hoping to maybe spend an hour or so here and then maybe find some golden arches. Let's go and have a look around anyway, see if we can see something a bit more interesting. I processed the images from the test shots yesterday and it came out surprisingly well. I didn't focus correctly on the closest part of the object, but the focus stacking process was relatively easy. The last batch of shots that I got, the plants were moving in the wind and there's a little breeze. You can kind of see with the hair maybe. There's a little breeze today in the woods, so I guess we'll see how it's going.
I was having some difficulty finding subjects, and I'd walked past some fungus right at the start because it didn't look too great. And I'd walked for maybe half an hour, 40 minutes, and hadn't really found a whole lot. So I thought, you know what, let's try and get set up. let's just try and take a picture of something just so we can try the kit out and figure out what works and what doesn't. So I've inverted the tripod here and I've taken a picture of this little leafy plant. Who knows what it's going to be coming out of the ground. And, bit of a waste of time, to be honest. Not a great picture. But here's just an idea of the kind of amount of time it takes to sort of pack things up. It's a little bit minor inconvenience. The tripod's not very pocketable. That was 10 times sped up. But here we go, onwards and out, off to find something else to take pictures of.
Change the tag slightly because the plants are moving, wobbling in the wind slightly. I've found a pine cone on a tree stump, randomly somehow placed in the centre, not by me, I promise. Would it matter? Who knows? Regardless, I set up here. I've just taken a couple of different shots. I'm encountering a second issue with this tripod, and that is that the connection between the tripod and the ball head is relatively loose, and I need to make sure it's tightened up. I was just framing it up there, and it just slipped. So we've got a living plant, got a pine cone, and then off in that direction, hopefully, is some kind of fungus we can take a picture of. And then I can go and get some lunch, because I'm getting hungry. This is starting to become more like a GeoWizard video at this point. As I appear to be in the middle of, well, I know where the car is, it's over here, but there is no path. So I'm having to forge my way through the trees, getting a little bit of the GeoWizard experience along with some macro photography. So I found the fungus that I saw originally when I came into this forest. I'm back. Ironically, just like yesterday, the thing I was looking for is within 100 metres of where I parked the car. Now, I did have a fun stroll through the woods. Might have got stabbed in the face a few times with branches. Might need some new trainers after this. They're definitely full of sticks and spikes. But I'm going to set up 2 shots here. I'm going to do a more wide kind of view which catches the whole fungus, and I'm going to get as close as I can with the camera, as far as close as the camera will focus, and I'll get a nice, like, super detailed close-up shot. So I've just taken the wide. Now I'm going to have a look around, and I'm going to see which sides of it are more interesting. So I'll set the camera up so you can see me working on it.
Well, you have to take what you're given. Not quite the beautiful fungus I was looking for today, but here we are.
We do have the camera upside down again. I can't say I'm the biggest fan, to be honest. It's kind of awkward, but it's the only way to get this close. So I'm going to use the focus limiter on the lens to make sure it's focusing as close as it can. Oh good lord, that's kind of gross, to be honest. Oh god, I think this is a young man's game, Jesus Christ. Oh, it's doing that thing where it sinks again. You line it up to how you want it, and then it just sinks back down. Record on video here, and I'll just show you what I mean by this. If I can find the record video up button. Right, so let's say we want to take a picture here. I'm going to tighten down the ball head right now, and that's tight when I let go. Yeah, quite frustrating. This is what I'm going to take a picture of here. I'm going to try and get this here going into whatever this kind of mossy, brackeny stuff is. Might need to go slightly higher. To get what I'm after. Here we go. We'll do one set with no lighting. Then we'll refocus back to the front of what I'm taking a picture of. And I'll use my smartphone light to add a bit of glow to the image. I mean, it would be nice if it was a bit more diffuse really, wouldn't it? But we know we're working on a budget here, so tell you what, we'll go with underlining it like that. I don't think that's worked really well, to be honest.
Crikey. The face only a mother could love, I think, is where I'd go with this fungus. So I tried it first without any kind of fill light, and then I added a fill light in on the second image. Now, this isn't a special kind of diffuse light or anything, this is just my smartphone. But, you know, we're going out, trying things out, and trying to see what we could do before going all in on the gear for this. I think it does add a bit of something to it, and if it was more diffuse and wasn't quite as harsh, it would help out. But the subject really isn't helping at all in this situation. Oh, that's a shame. I was so much hoping for something a little bit more like a nice mushroom, not the thing in fungus form. Anyway, let's see if we could do any better than this.
Okay, I'm hoping that's got what I wanted. It's got some of the background in now.
And it was more of what I was after, but possibly just still a bit on the gross side. I'll include some close-ups right at the end of this video of some of the creepy crawlers that are in these pictures.
I'll try one last one here.
Well, the lens is certainly good, and the bokeh, I do like the bokeh, but I do not have the skills to get the best out of this fungus. But I have learned a few things, and that'll be useful for when I actually do find a good subject to take pictures of.
Okay, I've finished shooting the last thing I'm going to shoot today. I think compared to when I came here yesterday, I'm a lot happier. I haven't even seen the images properly yet. I'm a lot happier with what I was able to shoot. These woods are pretty dense. There's a lot of them. Doesn't seem to be a lot of fungus and other stuff, which is what I was trying to get close to today, like the really tiny objects that you want to get, really close up macro shots of. I found some kind of, this looks kind of more like the sort of fungus I get in my garden. I think now the main thing for me is I'm going to get my gear packed away, get back to the car, get some food. I have to ring the wife, get a food order in. This has been entertaining. I've enjoyed this actually. It's quite peaceful walking around the woods. It's a lot more peaceful without a dog, I will say that, but it is quite fun to take the dog out on these shoots. The practicality is minimal, unfortunately. But thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this, subscribe. I will be mixing up the content between wildlife, macro, landscape, other photography adjacent subjects. But I'm off to go and get some food. See you next video.